Have you ever given someone a gift and they were just like, meh, thanks? How did that make you feel? I want to talk today about the 5 love languages. If you're married and you're watching this, please do me a favor and find out what your partner's love language is, but also know what yours is and communicate that. In the first years of our marriage, sometimes I was like, does my husband even care? I'm not feeling loved. But the reason is we're different people and we were raised differently. There's 5 love languages, and here's what they are: words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, quality time, and physical touch. Keep in mind, yes, of course, physical touch, most people like to talk about, but it's also when you're talking about your children and other people. For example, there are just random people that I know in my life that are super clingy. They love to have people hug them, hold their hand, put their, lock arms. It's not just physical touch, okay? Like you're thinking from a marriage perspective. So keep in mind when you're looking at these gifts or you're looking at the 5 love languages that they all have different meanings depending on the relationship we're talking about, right? So words of affirmation is huge for me. I don't need someone to tell me how great I am 50 times a day, but once in a blue moon, 3 times a month or something. Words of affirmation is honestly probably it's tied between second and third. I do love gifts, but not in the way I don't need someone to buy me diamond earrings. It's not about the money. It's about the thought behind the gift. For example, when your child draws you a picture or gives you a gift, that's something that just fills my love tank, if you will. Think about just loving people as a general thought, okay? Not always romantic love, right? All the different types of love. So gifts is another one, words of affirmation, and acts of service. Acts of service is my number one. Do something for me that helps me, and that makes me just feel loved. My husband, when he, does really simple things like take out the trash, or once in a while he'll bring me a coffee, just on his way home from work, or a smoothie or something, and I didn't ask for it. That to me is I feel so loved that you thought of me and brought me something, which is also kind of a gift, right? I feel really loved with those 3: acts of service, words of affirmation, and gifts. Now, the flip side of, for me, this is just my personality, I don't really care about quality time or touch. Most of us like all 5 of the love languages, but some of them were whatever, give or take. Now that I've shared that about myself, here's what is important. I have tried my darndest to figure out what other people's love languages are, because most easily love people the way we like to be loved. I don't think my husband really cares about words of affirmation. I don't really think he cares about gifts, to be honest. Now, does he like them? Sure. But could he go the rest of his life with me never getting him a gift? Probably. It's just not something that he has said that is important to him. Words of affirmation, I give those out frequently to everyone because that's how I love to be loved. It means a lot to some people, and other people, they're whatever. If they don't feel loved just because I did that. When we are loving people, when we are looking at our relationships, whether it's our kids, our parents, friends, someone we meet at Walmart, I'm not saying you're going to know their love language right away, but I'm saying when you start to develop a new friendship, try to figure out what makes them feel loved and then love them that way. I mentioned quality time, physical touch, whatevs. My husband knows we're both very individual people. I don't need to be sitting on the couch watching a movie with him every single night to feel and know that he loves me. My kid likes physical touch. He likes sitting next to me and talking to me. That's important to him. Words of affirmation are very important to my son. Quality time. Sometimes for me, I'm I don't necessarily want to sit with someone for 5 hours if they're going through something. Now, will I? Can I? Of course I will, and I can. But if I can send someone a gift with a word of encouragement that's quick to support them in a time of need, that's going to be a lot easier for me to do. But maybe that person truly needs me to sit with them for 2 hours and just listen. Sometimes I cannot sit with someone for 5 hours because I have a husband and a son, and I have things that I have to take care of for our family. However, sometimes I need to get outside of that if I can and really help that person and love them the way they need to be loved. In this day and age, I find this concept hardly happens. For those of us that are lucky and blessed, we have a handful of friends, and that might be 2 or 3, that have learned to love us the way we need. My best friends, I have 3 to 5 of them that are in my life that I've known for quite some time. They know me. They know that a listening ear is something that I need. Some of my friends, we will like send each other Starbucks cards when we feel like we're having a challenging day. Here's a quick uplift. And it might be a $5 Starbucks card. It's not like we're breaking the bank. But we have found ways to love each other the way that we need to be loved. And I know a handful of my friends, a lot of times they just need like a quick text of encouragement, like, hey, I'm thinking about you. I'm praying for you. Here's a scripture, to uplift you, right? But I think what's important in these 5 love languages is, yes, of course, determine what your love language is, and then communicate it to your partner or your family members in a loving way. Don't be like, you have to love me this way. I've told my husband times before where I was like, I don't need you to like do XYZ. I just simply need you to bring me a Coke on the way home from work. Like, I've had a bad day. This is what it looks like. I'm feeling a kind of way. I'm trying, obviously not to be overwhelmed. I've done another video about practical ways to look at overwhelm and how to get ahead of it. Part of that is just communication, right? Especially if you have a partner. If you've got coworkers at work, if you've not been communicating properly, maybe there's like a riff, right? Maybe just go to them and be like, listen, this is what I need today. Now, again, are you always going to get what you need just because you verbalize it? Absolutely not. Because some people just don't care. And that's a whole nother video or a whole nother video series. If there are people in your life that you genuinely know that they love you and they have your best interest at heart, if they don't know how to love you, help them, teach them. And again, my husband and I have been married almost 13 years, 12 years, I guess. And sometimes I'll say to him practically, can you love me this way? And I don't like verbalize it like that, but I just say, hey, next week when this thing comes up again, because it's going to, whatever that is, and I have some overwhelm or I have some stress, could you maybe pick one of these 2 or 3 things to kind of encourage me or uplift me? Or sometimes I'm like, dude, I just need a hug. That's going to fix everything. But here's where it gets important. How do you love other people? Sometimes loving other people is hard, is challenging, especially when their love language is not yours and it's not the easiest for you to give. It's a joke in our family. Like, I am not naturally the most empathetic person. It's not that I don't have compassion for people. My brain says, how can I fix the problem? And sometimes I can't. So sometimes for me, I have to summon empathy and compassion when someone's going through something really hard that I maybe don't understand, or I think they should handle it a different way. That's on me. I have found ways to challenge myself, like, okay, I need to learn to love this person in a way that's uncomfortable for me, but they need this. That's okay, because that's their love language. This is just something where I highly recommend the book, The 5 Love Languages. I think it's Gary Chapman that wrote it. That one specifically, I think, is written for spouses, married couples. There also is one for kids as well, because for our kids, even though there are kids, they might have a different love language. They probably do. My son, his love language is quality time and physical touch. And those are not my favorites to give, if you will, because it requires me more energy. For me, words of affirmation is easy. Giving little gifts, that's easy. And acts of service, like for me, making my son brownies or something, that's easy. It's easier sometimes than just sitting, because I don't sit well. So these are all things I'm learning along the way of my life. I'm approaching 50, and it's like, I feel like the older I get, the wiser I get, and the easier it is for me to look at other people and say, maybe they just weren't taught how to love. Maybe no one is loving them in their love language. I think it is important for us to get outside as humans, get outside our comfort zone and love people in other ways. And let me just say this, throw this in there, with the political climate, with everything going on in this world, people are not, their first instinct is to love someone. Our first natural human instinct is to be like, that's how it comes out. Could I do a 17 video series on self-control and how to be a better human? Of course I could. But as it relates to love languages, take a peek at, especially if you're married, take a peek at how your spouse is loving you. Sometimes your spouse is loving you the only way they know how, and that's the way they like to be loved. With your child, with anyone you work with, if you can just get a peek into what is their love language and start loving them better that way, whether it's marriage, spouse, friendship, your kid, a coworker, because some people truthfully are hard to love. We all know that. We all have that person that just popped into our brain that was like, ooh, yes, that person too. Hope y'all learned something today. Share this video, subscribe, drop a comment, let me know your love language. I love when people are like, yes, oh my gosh, that's my love language. No wonder I feel this kind of way. So see y'all, have a great day, and go out and find a way to love someone in your life better today.